Hi and welcome to another Type with Me video. So today I want to talk about container queries with Remix, actually React Router. It's very cool to set up something like that. I'm just gonna briefly show you what container queries are, and I will show it within an application which is React Router. I'm not gonna go in depth in what Remix or React Router is, but just to show you mainly what container queries are. So first of all, if you go to the MDN web docs, you see here that we have CSS container queries, and you see here that we have something like a media query where we have viewport size, and then you can say max width, and then when your viewport of your complete window is like that, you need to write a certain CSS that will override everything. But then you have container query, and this is just a piece, this is just a div that you're gonna refer to and that you're gonna manipulate. So here you see, using container size queries, we have possibilities to identify certain things like size, inline size, and normal, and that's a container type, the inline size, for example. And here we can say that we have something like a post, and then you have here, if the container is larger than 700 pixels, well, we need to apply this, right? But it's important maybe to also name them. So in the previous section, a container query applied styles based on the nearest ancestor with a containment context. It's possible to give a containment context a name using the container name, and I actually prefer that because it makes it more readable and easier to maintain when you are working in a large development team, and I think this will makes a lot of sense. So here we have add container and then sidebar, and then when the width is smaller than 700 pixels, we are going to change the font size of 2em to that. And then here we have container sidebar slash inline size, and this will work to manipulate then the post CSS. So it's an interesting thing to really go responsive with subdivs and subspans without using the complete viewport. So in my case, I think it's something very useful to work with as a web designer or web developer. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly explain a little bit what I did actually. So if we go back, you see here that I did mpx create react router latest, and then I call it my container, so it generates the complete project. So I did that, and then after that I did going to the folder my container, and then I did npm install, and then you could do pm dev. But then I created this one, and the index.tsx, where we have actually reference towards styles slash cart.css, where we can do something like this with a links function, where we have our style sheet and our style sheet URL, and we can then just export it so that React Router knows that he needs to use that, and we can then just provide the right divs where we have container, and here we have something like this, placeholder.com slash 150, and we have our cart content, title of our cart, the description of our cart, right? We have here our styles that I created with cart.css, and this one is an important one. So let me go back. Here we say that our dot container is the container dash type inline size. So this marks that this element is being used as a container. And and if you then go here and you do add container, minimum width 400 pixels, card with an image, card with contents, and so on, you can then manipulate that easier. We have changed our background right here, and of course one of the things you see is that here we have our card with our direction column, and here we have our card with our direction row, right? So if we now go towards here, within router, I changed this to index routers / index.tsx to have it all available within the browser. If I now do pnpm def and I run this, you see that we can very easily go to this URL. So if you now go to the our web application, then you can very easily see when we're going smaller and smaller, then of course after a while our background will be lighter, and we'll have here our image and here our title of the card and our description, right? So we can then turn around our cards and rearrange the contents, because we are going to go more and more responsive, right? So that's, I think, a very good deal and a very good thing. So one of the things I can still show you, which is also a nice thing, is the scroll state. Using queries with scroll state. So if I go down here, you see here our content type is a scroll state, and our container name is my container. So we say that my container has a scroll state of scrollable top, and if you see towards the demo, you see here back to the top, and an element to show when we need to go back to the top. Here we have a translate of 80 pixels and 0, and we can do some transitions. Container type scroll state, we have a container name scroller, and here we can say then what we want to do when we are on top, right? So if we play this and you do this, right, you see that when we are not on top, then it will just use our normal translate, right, our translate 18 pixels, and when we are on top, you'll see that it will translate 0, 0. So we can go back to top because we click on it, we scroll back to the top, right, and it just works. I think it's a very nice trick. So I wanted to show you guys this because I think this is really a great trick to go and play around with. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you indeed are going to play around with the container query, maybe also gonna play around with the scroll state and scrollable top, because I think you can do very neat things with it. It's a new cool thing in town for CSS, right? So I really am a big fan of this. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you think this was awesome and you learned something, right? Because the most important thing for me is that I learned something, but I can also teach you guys something so you can learn something as well. So thank you very much and see you next time.